Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to the best damn golf podcast on the planet. Of course, that's the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. With me, your host, Dennis Silvers. Glad to have you joining us today. We've got a terrific show lined up. You know, we always like talking about improving our golf swings, getting better at the game, which everybody wants to do. We got a terrific instructor on for you today, and I think it's going to be very, very helpful. We're coming to you, of course, as we do every show, from the fabulous Rigel Studios right in the heart of the entertainment capital of the world, and that, of course, is Las Vegas, Nevada. And guess what? We're going to be 80 degrees today. We were like 80 degrees yesterday. It is like teasing us to get into summer or spring, but guess what? Tomorrow, 50% chance of rain. The weekend's going to be crap. I'm not going to be playing golf. It's going to be cold. It's just crazy, but we got to get through this and get into spring and get into summer. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about with our guest today, so let me tell you a little bit about him. Dale is a PGA teaching professional who is currently the director of instruction at a great facility called Bighorn Golf Club, which is in Palm Desert, California. You know, that's Southern California. Dale's a Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher, as well as Golf Digest Top Teacher in the state. Dale was selected as the Southwest Section PGA Teacher of the Year back in 2013. And Dale is also certified in various teaching aspects of the game of golf, like aim point, like TrackMan, and blast golf, which I absolutely love. Dale has given literally thousands of lessons to players of all abilities, and feels with his advanced knowledge of biomechanics, which we're going to talk about, he's able to help golfers more quickly become better at what they're trying to do, better player, better golf swing. Dale is also a former Leadbetter certified instructor as well, and we're going to talk about that for a second. So right now, my pleasure to bring up Dale Abrams. And Dale, welcome to the show, man. I know you're busy giving lessons, and I appreciate you rushing in and doing the show with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
I just talked to Led yesterday, as a matter of fact. He's a very good friend of mine. He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. What facility were you at when you were working for David?
So we had Academy here in the Palm Desert area. We had one at Desert Willow. So I was actually here in this area.
Okay. You are probably aware that he's leaving Champions Gate pretty soon.
Yeah, he's had an amazing run there. He's an amazing guy, and you know, I owe a lot of my start to being with him, starting my career there.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's, of course, doesn't handle the daily operations as much as he did anymore, but we're going to be doing some stuff with him on the show, and he's absolutely terrific. Dale, before we get into the interview, I'm just curious as to your reaction with all this garbage going on with Phil Mickelson, because he's getting hammered on social media. I have golf industry people calling me. We're talking about it, and the guy is just getting absolutely hammered. What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. One of the things is I would say is I don't know enough about it right now. I've been just so busy with everything going on here and teaching. It's been a crazy time of year. Our lessons have been up a ton, and I'm just teaching sun up to sundown. So I can't say that I'm speaking from any point of knowledge on the subject, other than, you know, the PGA Tour has been great to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we do a great job raising a lot of money for charities, and they're very generous in that type of manner. So I don't have anything bad to say about that, nor would I if I did. So I think it's one of those things. It's an unfortunate circumstance, and he's probably kicking himself a bit for saying what he did.
Yeah, and he's taking some time off, and I think that's a smart thing to do, and we'll see how everything plays out. Dale, why do you think being proficient in biomechanics helps your students become better players? I've talked to many top golf instructors like yourself that really don't even think about biomechanics when they're teaching. So give us the upside about why you think biomechanics is so important.
Well, biomechanics, the golf moves and our bodies move the way we can move them, right? So not everybody can work and move the way you want them to. Everybody's different. Everybody has different limitations, different ability to move. And so that's really going to determine how you can swing. And if you don't know enough about biomechanics, then you're not going to be able to get somebody to their optimal swing. And so for me, everybody's different. Not everybody's going to want to swing it like a tour player or be able to, for sure. So understanding biomechanics and how each muscles or what muscle groups are responsible for different motions, you can really help people get to their optimal swing.
Right. Exactly. And do you carry the same message with somebody who's 18 years old as opposed to one of your students that might be 65? A little bit more of a limitation, right?
Right, exactly. So 18 years old, you're probably at one of the most flexible points in your life. So there's not going to be as many limitations. And if you can get your swing where you want it to be at a younger age, it's much easier than at an older or advanced age.
Right.
So as we get more advanced, we have more injuries, we have more limitations. I mean, I see people with shoulder, knee, hip, back, elbow, wrist, all sorts of limitations, necks. And you have to know how to work around that, and either how to fix it, how to work around it. What can you do to help somebody right now in the state that they're in? Because very few people are going to spend the amount of time it takes to correct a limitation.
Right.
And that's off the golf course, away from, at home, stretching, stability, strength, all that stuff. Not too many people are interested in doing that. So you got to know how to work around them, how you can help somebody right now with swing technique, while still taking into account that they're not maybe going to be able to do something that you want them to do.
That's very well put. Would you say, though, agree with me, David, that the older you get, you have to start compromising your swing, or is that a false statement?
I don't know if you have to compromise it. I think it just may be different, or your optimal swing might look different than had you started when you're really young. Our movement patterns tend to stick with us. So if you picked up a club when you were really young, your swing is going to probably look somewhat similar. You're going to have signatures throughout your time on Earth.
Right.
If you picked it up later in life, your swing will probably look different than had you picked it up earlier in life.
Yeah. Who influenced you to learn the game, and who did you grow up getting instruction from? And thirdly, I know it's a lot, what kind of swing philosophy do you subscribe to?
Well, I would say the first one was my dad probably influenced me the most in it. I didn't play golf when I was younger like the kids nowadays. I was much more baseball, a bunch of different sports, but I think primarily baseball. And then when I was almost 16, I moved to California, and I started playing golf when I was between my sophomore and junior year in high school. And I just picked it up in one summer and got pretty good pretty quickly, but I worked hard at it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what got me in. But my dad's love for the game was really what kind of started me and opened my eyes to it. And then as far as, who got me into the biomechanics, that was my own injury. So I was a pretty good player in college. I think I was a 3-time All-American. And then about a week out of college, I broke my wrist and tore a ligament in my wrist. And so it wasn't
good for golf. Not good for golf.
No, it's not. But when I got healthy, and it took me a while, it took me about 4 months to recover from that. And then I got tendonitis in that same wrist, and it took about a year to recover from that. And when I did recover, I went to some of the top instructors in the world, and they all told me the same thing. And as soon as I would do that, my wrist would swell another month or two.
Wow.
So I kind of started looking into biomechanics. Well, there's other guys in the history of golf that have had wrist injuries and they still play. What can I do to make myself be able to play, and how can I modify my technique? And I think I got better once I understood that and started looking into it. And this was kind of mid-90s, where working out was taboo. And I think Greg Norman was the only guy that really worked out hard and did the physical stuff that everybody does nowadays.
Right.
But that's what got me into it. And I started studying what can people do when they have limitations.
That's excellent.
I spent countless hours with a lady named Janet Alexander. She's been huge in my teaching. She was, I think, rated by Golf Digest as one of the top physical experts in the game. So she's amazing. And I can't even tell you how many hours I spent with her working on me and then other people. And I would take clients to her. I would take video to her and just say, hey, what's going on with this person's body? And then I'd go back and test them. And so that kind of got me into it. And Paul Chek as well. And then later on TPI with Greg Rose and Dave Phillips, and kind of went in that way.
Right.
So from the biomechanics standpoint, from the teaching standpoint, I just wanted to study everybody. So lead obviously had a huge impact on me. Mike Adams, I really like all the stuff he does. I think he's into biomechanics as well. And I just wanted to know all the different methods that you can use so that you have this big toolbox with all these tools in it. So whichever tool you need, you can pull it out. So I'm not a method teacher. I don't believe that everybody fits into one small box, because I think that just misses too many things. So I kind of subscribe to the theory that everybody's different. We all have different goals, different aspirations, different limitations, whether they be physical or their time limitations or whatever they are. Doing our own best, and that's how I kind of approach it.
Yeah, no, that's makes a lot of sense, and perfect thing for you to do, obviously, where you ended up. You know, every golfer, as you know, Dale, wants to get better. Every golfer on the planet, including tour players. I mean, that's a given. My question to you is this. You can definitely improve your game taking lessons from somebody like yourself, kind of modestly as you go along. But what do you think prevents players from really excelling at their game? And I mean, really, really getting better fairly quickly?
There's a lot of aspects to that. So everybody's different too, right? You can have somebody that you can have a good player that has a really good short game and isn't very good at full swing, or you can have somebody who's really good at full swing and not very good at short game.
Right.
Or you can be good at both, but not have the mental aspect of it. So I think the mental aspect of it's part of it, and it's a big part of it. And I think that's where guiding people to the right instruction there can help. Obviously, your technique, if that's off, that causes issues. And then short game is so important. People don't realize the importance of having a good short game and having good wedge game and being a good putter, because it can save you from so many things and make you so much more consistent.
Yeah.
And playing a lot can actually be detrimental. So it's hard to change your swing when you're in the middle of a season. If you're somewhere year round like you and I are, it's harder to change your swing. But if you're somewhere where you have an off season and you can go in your garage or your basement and you can just make it just maybe 5 minutes a day or 25 groove something, then when you actually put that into motion, maybe it's a month or two later, you're much more likely to be able to make that motion.
Yeah. You go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
A lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah. I was going to say, you mentioned short game, and my question to you before we take our first short break is, why is practicing the short game, and I call that the scoring part of the game, Dale, putting, chipping, so on and so forth, why isn't that more sexy to players? They want to get out in the range, they want to hit the ball as far as they can, blast those drives, but overlook the scoring part of the game. What do you think you can do as a top instructor to make that more sexy to your students?
Well, I think it's one of those things of coaching people and teaching them, helping them realize the importance of that. Like I actually have a short game test that I put people through, and I have them take that short game test, and I have them compare the handicap it comes out with their actual regular USGA handicap. And when they see the difference, a lot of times the short game handicap is much, much higher, which tells them, all right, your short game's holding you back. And when they start understanding that and they start counting putts and they start counting up and down percentages, helping them realize that that's where you really can affect your score more quickly. That full swing may only be a shot or two around, where maybe the short game's 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 shots.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
You start teaching them and coaching them that way, and then all of a sudden they realize that, and that helps it a little more sexy. It's not as glamorous as hitting a 3 drive like you see guys on tour.
Right.
But the guys on tour that are hitting 325-yard drives, the ones that are winning, are still hitting really good wedge shots, and they're making putts.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. All right, stay with us. We're going to step away, take a short break here on the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. And we come back, we're going to have a lot more with our special guest, Dale Abraham. So right now, this is On the Tee with JT. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Tea Time Fitness with Janice. Hi, I'm Janice Thornton, and today let's get an exercise for your shoulders. Grab your driver, go up overhead. You're gonna go with your arms behind your head, bending one of your elbows. Now I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together and really stretch out that chest and shoulder area. Make sure you do both sides. Now you're gonna want to repeat this about 3 to 5 times on each side. To add into that same exercise, you can put your arms up overhead, go behind. If you have to bend your elbows, that's fine. You're gonna take a wider stance, bend over, and then just gently go side to side with your arms. And do what feels comfortable. You do not wanna be in any kind of pain when you do that, but that will help with shoulder mobility and stability as well. So check out jtfitnessandgolf.com for more ideas like this.
When I first learned about Encore, I was a little taken back because I didn't know much about the ball. I went out and played a couple rounds with it, and I was just extremely surprised how this ball made up for what I was looking for in a golf ball 20 years ago. It's a very straight ball. It launches a little higher than other balls that I've used, which is ideal for the tour because we're playing firm and fast greens. A lot of the balls do fly very similar, but this ball reacts so much differently around the greens and inside 100 yards than any other ball I've ever played. The combination of this ball is the best ball that I've ever played.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I think I just renamed Janice's segment. You know, it's I said on the tee. It's Tea Time with JT. She is amazing. If I could do half the stuff she does from a physical standpoint, boy, would I'd be a lot better off. She's just absolutely amazing. Anyway, we're back with our interview with Dale Abraham, who is the director of instruction up at Bighorn Golf Club in Southern California. Dale, as an instructor, what do you think brings an instructor more pressure? And what I mean by that is you are in a very kind of an exclusive golf community with Bighorn, and you're seeing the same members every day. You're teaching the same members, working with them fairly often, as opposed to a teacher who is at a golf resort, who's kind of putting Band-Aids on people that are there for a couple of days playing golf, so on and so forth. They just want to get around a little bit better. Where do you think the pressure falls in something like that?
Well, I think there's pressure on both, right? The pressure is to perform and help people get better.
Right.
So that's the biggest pressure. And we're in a society that people want everything now. They want to improve.
Right.
We're an 18 handicap and they want to be Tiger Woods at his prime by the end of an hour lesson.
Right.
And that's just not realistic. So setting realistic goals is really important. And then helping people see what they want and get where they need to go. So you map out a plan of how they can get there. And for some people, it may be just a quick little fix and tip and they're off and running. Or it might be somebody who comes to you right before a tournament, like, hey, I'm doing this. What can I do to get rid of that? Or how can I help me real quick? And then there's the other people that are in it for the long haul that say, how do you get me better? I'm a whatever handicap and I want to be this one. And how do I get there?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, there's a lot of pressure in it because if you're not doing your job and you're not getting better, you're not going to last very long.
Yeah, that's that's very true. Do you teach more women than men or vice versa?
I would say it's probably close to 50-50. I know
Right.
women are supposedly only about 25 or 6% of the game here.
Right.
But I teach a lot of women, and some of the best clients I have are actually some of the female ones. So I've had a lot of success with that, and it's been great. I enjoy it, and they typically have less physical limitations, which means you don't have to modify swings as much. But yeah, I'd say it's probably pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah. Do you think that, and you're right, I think it's about 25% of the world players are women. So it's a huge market. What can you do as a very knowledgeable Topgolf instructor to try to get more women in the game, Dale?
Well, I think it's about making it fun and breaking down some of the barriers, right? Golf is so fascinating. For those people that don't play, it's a huge intimidation factor. There's so many different things to learn. So one of the things that I've done some different things in the past. I had a ladies fun league where it was just ladies only, and we'd go out and we'd do a little clinic and then go out on the golf course. And the fun league part was we didn't have any rules. If you didn't like where your ball was, go pick it up out of a bunker and put it on the grass.
I love it.
Tee it up in the middle of the fairway. Whatever you could do to have some success. Because if they have success early, it makes it so much more fun. And I also try to start people from the green and work them backward. So they learn the essence of the game, which you mentioned earlier, which is short game. They learn to get the ball in the hole. They learn to read greens. They learn to control the speeds on the putts. They learn to control the direction. They learn to chip, which is kind of like the basic motion of a golf swing. They learn how impact is, how to hit down rather than up. And they start to get a small motion and then move back from there. So the motion gradually gets bigger. So maybe they get comfortable from 20 yards away, then they can move back to 50, then they can move back to 100, and then they can move back on the tee, where you take some of the pressure away from time and what if I don't hit a good shot, and the people around me watching, and all the different pressures that they feel. Make it more fun, make it enjoyable, break down some of that pressure and some of those barriers, and let them have a good time.
That's exactly right, and that's why I guess somebody came up with the idea, which I think is great. The 9 and wine type of thing. Afterwards, I think that's a fabulous idea. But yeah, there's a lot of ways I think that we could promote to get more women in the game. I've got to say this, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but on your website, you say that you are an instructor that you could go to teach the full swing, to teach the short game, to teach putting methods. You get into club fitting, you get into exercising, you get into nutrition. I know a few other top instructors that get into all these areas, but my question to you, Dale, how the hell can you be really good at all of those things and not take away from one or the other? If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, it does. It does. But obviously there's a limit to time, right? So in a lesson, depending on how long it is, you actually have to prioritize things. So for some people, it's going to just be regular full swing lesson, or some people, they might need help in the short game. Some people need help in nutrition, and you have to know enough about each segment to be able to help somebody. So if you have good players, or even players that are going to play competitively, just want to reach their peak, you got to be able to help them in all the different aspects, because it's not your handicap is not just what your full swing is or just what your short game is. There's between the ears, there's club fitting, there's course management, there's all these things. Playing golf is not just swinging a golf club.
No, true.
So you have to have knowledge in each. And I also have a team of experts that I go to. If I need to send somebody to a nutritionist for nutrition and that part of it, I send them there. If I have somebody that I need to send to the physical experts, I send them there. So when it's beyond my scope and they really want to get to that top echelon, then I send them to the professionals that can help them in those aspects.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. And that, kind of relieves my anxiety about asking that question. There's been some discussion amongst golf industry people about lessons, particularly about the length of lessons. More and more people, I shouldn't say more, but a growing number, think that an hour lesson is too long. it's overload for the average student. They would rather see a concentrated lesson, if you will, for 20, 25 minutes to work on one thing and to really drill down on it. What's your feeling about that?
I think well, it depends again. So if it's the first time you're meeting somebody, it takes a good 10, 15, 20 minutes just to get to know them, just to sit down, talk with them, get to know their goals, their aspirations, what their limitations are, those kind of things. So in a first lesson, I really don't like half-hour lessons. It's just too quick. It goes by too much. You don't really get to know that person very well. So I don't feel like that's the best use of time. If you know somebody and you've worked with them in the past, then a half hour, that's fine. I actually would prefer 45-minute lessons.
Okay.
Because it gives you enough time to work on that one aspect, to see what they're doing, talk to them about it, and then give them a little bit of time to work on the practice of implementing that. So if you do random practice too, which there's been studies that show that random practice is much more highly effective than block practice. Block practice being hitting the same club over and over again, and random practice being hitting a different club to a different target on every shot. So if you get into random practice, it takes longer because you're switching clubs constantly, you're switching targets. It takes a little bit longer. So, and as long as you know that hour session, and with like me, I do video, I use TrackMan, I use different things. And if I want to, if I feel like somebody gets it pretty quickly, then we'll go work on some other aspect of their game too. So maybe we'll hit full swing and short game. Okay. Or maybe we'll hit full swing and putting or something like that, so you can get more done. Sometimes people need an hour just to get one thing done.
True.
Right. So it's the tortoise and the hare. How fast do you change? And everybody's different, and every lesson's different.
That's very true. A couple things. How do you feel about playing lessons? I know a lot of top instructors don't necessarily put all that much faith into playing lessons. And number two, I know you're into TrackMan. I know you're into Aimpoint, some other stuff. How do you feel about training aids as a whole?
So I love playing lessons because you're playing golf. You're not just swinging a club. I've seen people swing clubs completely differently on a driving range than they do on a golf course. Or I've seen people do things on a golf course where they don't adjust for lies properly. And on a range, you can only get so many different lies. I had one of the ladies that I teach that was a really good competitive player one time. And this was early on in my career, and we were into about a 15-mile-an-hour wind, and I think she had 165 yards or something on a shot. And I asked her how long she's going to play it for, and it was all over water, and she told me the exact number, which the pin was just over the water. And I kind of looked at her, and she hits it, and it falls about 10 or 15 yards short in the water, and she hit it perfectly. And I said, well, what about the wind? And she looked at me and said, that affects a golf ball? And so it's one of those things where you never know until you get them on a golf course. And there's so many things that you can cover on a golf course. And I actually love playing lessons because I think they're just there's so much more things, so many more things that you can cover. They're just great. And as far as training aids, I think training aids are great. Now, I don't know if I'd consider TrackMan or I have the Science of Motion Putt Lab, stuff like that, a training aid. I think you use technology to make things more simple. I think you don't want to make them technical. You don't want to make them too hard. If you use technology correctly, like a TrackMan, and you tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna change your club path, and here's what we want your club path to be. Here's what it is. You can use it as a measuring device, so they get that feedback right away. They can make a swing. They see exactly what it was. And they know, okay, I need to do it more. I need to do it less. Okay. So it can accelerate a learning curve there.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Before we take our next break, let me ask you this. At one point during your students' progress, if they're with you for a while, would you start talking about, or if they bring up the idea about getting fitted for clubs? At what point in their teaching career, so to speak?
Right. So it just depends. I've had people come in where their clubs are so poorly fitted to them, and they just bought them off a rack, or they bought them, without getting fit at all, that that club is actually causing some of the problem.
Right.
So if that's the case, I'll tell them right then, like, hey, these aren't the right clubs for you, or this driver. It happens more often with wedges than it does anything else.
Interesting.
I find more people don't have enough bounce on their wedges, and that creates a really big problem with their technique, and then they wind up having all sorts of issues.
Yep.
So somebody like that, I've got demo wedges. I just pull out one of my Vokey demo wedges, give them that with the right amount of bounce, and have them hit that, and they just walk away, and they're like, I can't believe I can do that now.
Yeah.
Other people, their clubs are pretty good. They're close enough that it's not the arrow, it's the Indian.
Of course.
That's causing the problem.
Absolutely.
So it just depends on, everybody's different again, right? So you have to read the situation, and then you can kind of go from there. I've also had people that have bought clubs and walk in, they're not fitted, and you have to kind of bite your tongue because they're so excited about their new club, and you don't want to tell them, hey, you just spent $500 or $600 on the wrong club.
Exactly.
So, it's one of those, you have to read each situation differently, and you just tailor the instruction to the individual. And sometimes the delivery has to be tailored to the individual as well. So
do you sell a lot of hard goods in your pro shop there?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bighorn.
I haven't been there. I hope to come visit you. By the way, before we take our break, you're not there all year round, are you? You kind of bail when it gets hot there?
Right. Yeah. So last year was, so during COVID originally, when that hit, I stayed and my wife had some health problems. So 3 years ago, we stayed for 2 summers, and they were actually quite a bit busier than I thought I would be.
Huh.
I was actually teaching almost full time again still. So we actually head to Maine in the summer, and we spent our first year at Cape Arundel in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Beautiful.
Last summer. So
beautiful.
It's absolute place. They have a great range and facility. The golf course is a really fun golf course. We're going back again this year too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, stay with us. We're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with our special guest, Dale Abraham from Bighorn Golf Club. Great facility. Back right after this. Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at EncoreGolf.com, and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to EncoreGolf.com and see for yourself. Your scorers will love you for it. That's ONCORE Golf.com.
Experience a salon like no other. Charm Beauty Lounge specializes in hair, skin, and a non-surgical, painless way to fuller hair, designed to boost hair volume up to 400% without glue or solvents. Make your appointment today. Call 702-201-1655.
Hey beautiful, come on in. Charm Beauty Lounge, Charm Beauty Lounge.
All right, continuing our interview with Dale Abraham. Dale, does your wife play golf by chance?
She doesn't.
Okay. Just no desire?
No, she's had some health issues, and so she's not able to, and then she just doesn't have the time either. We have a little one at home. She's 6 years old. So
oh, that's great.
We got our hands full.
Yeah, that's great. For all of our viewers that maybe not are not familiar with Bighorn, would you kind of describe the layout, what the course is like, who designed the course, any of outstanding features that the club would have?
Yeah, Bighorn is absolutely an amazing place. It's a 36-hole facility, so 2 different golf courses. we're kind of on each side of a road, and it's kind of set back into the mountains. So it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most amazing places I've ever been and seen, and I'm just fortunate to be here. It's just an incredible facility. The members are fantastic. The staff is really top rate. It's rated one of the best courses in the country, and best facilities for homes and things. And it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. I'd love to come visit you. You got any juice there? Can you get me a media rate or get me out there? Could we tee it up? Could we tee it up together?
Right. I would love to play golf. I usually don't get much chance to play golf from about the beginning of October, or maybe even the end of October through until May. Just, I'm teaching 6 days a week from sun up to sundown, and
wow.
Really packed. So, and we're just, like you said, we're heading into the high season now, and March is probably our busiest month of the year.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but it's a great place, and yeah, anytime you come, you'll have to swing by.
Oh, absolutely. You've got some wonderful golf in that whole area as a general rule. Do you get a chance to get out, or when you do play, to get out to some of the other local courses?
I don't. Typically when I play golf, it's maybe only a dozen rounds a year, and it's always in tournaments. So I have not had much of a chance to play. Just it's too busy with work. I just don't have the time. I would love to, but I just don't have the time.
Okay. So what the hell are you doing with all your money? You must be killing it there.
It's been good. I wouldn't want it to be any different. Unfortunately, with COVID, that changed a lot of things, but it did make golf even more popular and kind of kept people here a little more often. But it's been great. It's been great for the industry, and I hope we can keep it going that way.
Yeah. Online lessons have become a major deal with a lot of very good top golf instructors that are doing online lessons. Do you think, honestly, Dale, you could learn to play golf online and become a decent player?
I think it's possible. Is it the best way? Probably not, but is it possible? I think so. I've done some Zoom and FaceTime lessons as well. But those are usually with clients that I have that have already established relationships. But I also have people that send me videos of their own swing, and I do lessons that way too. And I can send them a little video back and a summary and kind of have a before and after, and here's what you want to do. And so I think it's another avenue to reach people that you couldn't reach otherwise.
Gotcha. No, and I agree. All right, before I let you go, one last question. What is the importance, and what do you tell your students about having a good or just a pre-shot routine, good, bad, or indifferent? How important is that?
It's very important. It's just part of the whole operation. So when your pre-shot routine, there's different elements to it. It can help you get set and quiet your mind and kind of quiet your body and just let your body go ahead and do what you've trained it to do. It can incorporate your alignment. It can incorporate visualization. So I think it's a really important aspect of it, because you want to rely on that when you get under pressure. So you have just an autopilot. So that happens every time you do the same thing. It takes you the same amount of time. You don't put more or less time depending on the importance of a shot. And it really helps your body perform.
Yeah, you mentioned, and you are a very good player. You play mostly competitive. If somebody that is watching us right now is getting ready for a tournament at their club championship, match play thing or whatever, what's your advice to them to kind of settle down, get the tension out, don't get rattled when they go out and tee it up?
Well, I think there's several aspects to that. Number one is you want to learn to breathe right. So breathing properly, taking some nice long deep breaths. There's a thing called box breathing. You can Google that. It's pretty easy to figure out what that is. That can help calm you down. But I think one of the most important mental aspects of it is you need to have process goals. So you have your outcome goal, which might be to win a tournament or to finish make a cut, to do whatever that outcome is. But you need process goals, and process goals can be 3 or 4 little things that you can do well that'll get you to the outcome goal, like getting 100% committed to a target before you step up to a golf ball, going through the same pre-shot routine every time you hit a golf shot, taking the same amount of time, just little things like that that are going to help you get to the outcome you want. And
Right.
those are so important. Just taking those little steps, focusing on those little things. And it can be getting over bad shots and having a very short, forgetful memory of bad shots, but a long, vivid one of good shots.
Good shots, right, exactly. No, I agree with you. So what I'm doing apparently, Dale, is wrong, because my answer to that is bringing out a six-pack on the first tee. So that's not working, right?
That's called getting that gaming fluid correctly.
I love it. I love it. Anyway, we're going to let you go. I know that you're busy. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of a busy schedule and coming on the show. Great information. I'm sure we'll get some good feedback from our listeners and viewers, and we'd love to have you back sooner than later. And I'm going to get in your neighborhood, and I'm going to come by and say hello.
Well, I look forward to it. Thanks for having me on the show, Dennis.
Thank you very much, Dale. All right, Dale Abraham, everybody. Great guy, great teacher, obviously, at a terrific club. All right, we will step away one more time, take a short break, come back, and wrap up the show.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, a lot of great information from Dale Abraham. Obviously, a good teacher, top 100 teacher, and very interesting answers. And obviously, he's quite successful. And as I say, great facility. I haven't been there. I know friends that have. They do say it's absolutely wonderful. So we hope you get a chance to get out this weekend, wherever you are. The weather's great, and play some golf. And we will have another great guest for you next week. Same time, same place. So until then, keep it in the short stuff. We'll see you next week, everybody. So long.